Hey everybody, and welcome to Health Coach Tip Tuesday, where every week we are going to give you the tips, tools, and resources you need for health coaches and professionals to confidently solve their clients' health issues and to grow your business as a health coach or professional. If you are ready to dig in, drop the word health in the comments, and we are going to send you FDN's 3-step guide to getting real results for you and your clients. I am your co-host and FDN course counselor, Piper Gibson. And the man next to me, welcome back. You may know him as the founder of Functional Diagnostic Nutrition. This is Reed Davis. Hi, Reed. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Piper, and to everybody. Thanks for being here.
Fantastic. Well, we're glad to have you back. And this week, Reed is going to be teaching us all about how to help our clients get and stay well naturally. A great topic for the beginning of the new year. So, Reed, we'll let you start it off. And what is your experience with really helping your clients get well and stay well naturally?
Well, that became the goal. It's over 20 years ago now. I started working in a wellness center, mostly chiropractic, acupuncture, massage, and nutrition. And I was the nutritionist. And so the goal was to get people healthy. But it became more about educating them how to get healthy. You can't make anyone do anything. So you have to teach them how to get healthy and stay healthy naturally, because we don't want to do drugs and surgery. And I sometimes joke around and say our clients are too smart for that stuff. Just treating symptoms. I mean, that's ancient history now for most of our constituents, the people who think the way we do, the people with the same values that we have. So they want to get well and stay well naturally. And then in turn, so we have to educate them to do that. And then in turn, they can go educate others. So we've put so much information and empowerment in people's hands that they get very inspired. And so not only do we help them get well and stay well, then they go on and pass the word. And that relates in our world to them, our graduates going on to recruit other graduates, or trainees for what we do. So it's all very simple.
It is. It's simple.
You know the program.
Mm-hmm. I do. It's hard to get people, though, to kind of think in a new space, in a new area. And really, that's what FDNs and health coaches are good at, is really helping to get people to change their mindset about how to get well and stay well naturally. So do you have some really good tips for health coaches and how they can help their clients do that?
Yeah, well, again, education, but the most important thing from my methodology has always been to, you got to get into people's heads a bit, like really understand what is their main complaint and how often it bothers them and how long it's been going on and what have they tried so far. So you got to understand where your client's coming to you from. If they can't name a main complaint, then they're all over the board. They have too many complaints. They just complain about everything, So it's got to be something, you got to say to them, if I could wave a magic wand, what would be the one thing, maybe two? What's the most important thing to you to change about the way you look or feel? So it's going to be something about the way they look or the way they feel. I'm too fat. I'm too old. I'm too this, too that. Or I'm tired. I'm fatigued. I have allergies. Whatever it is, headaches, and things like that. So So you can write that down, and then how often does it bother you? Because if it's not pretty often, they're not going to do anything about it. If it's once a month, my main complaint is migraines. I get one every month or 3 months. They're not a good client because it doesn't bother them enough, to engage you. Remember, as a health coach, your job is to get hired, but you don't have to sell your stuff. You just have to be able to interview a person to see if they even qualify, to see if you even first can help them. So if they don't have a main complaint, you can't help them. If it hasn't been bothering them for, often enough, like I'd say, at least a couple times a week or 3 times a week, or if it's every day, then wow, that sucks. And now there's a person who might do something, might actually be, spend their money to become your client. So they have to be able to name a complaint, 2 at the most. They have to have had it happening frequently enough that they'd be motivated. And the third question is always, um, you know, it's what's your main complaint, how often does it bother you, and how long has that been going on? Because if it hasn't been going on for a few months, then it's not a real problem. If it's just been a week, oh, I get my migraines, I have had one a week, they're just not a prospect for you. But if they have a problem that they can identify and that it bothers them often enough and it's been going on for a while, then you have a chance. They might qualify to become your client. Remember, you're not letting them pick your brain. As a health coach, never let anyone pick your brain. Hey, can I pick your brain? No, but why? Do you have a health problem that concerns you? What's your main complaint? Oh, how long's that been going on? And how often does it bother you? Now you're in a real engagement. You're in a real conversation to see whether you can help them or not. But to let them pick your brain, it's not going to help them. They're just fishing around, and it never helps them. So the fourth question after, what's your main complaint, how often does it bother you, and how long has it been going on? If they answer those right, they have a real problem. It's been going on for a while and it bothers them enough. They might become a client. Then you could say, well, what have you tried so far? Because they've tried it. And if they've tried everything, even better, like that's someone you really might be able to help. They've tried, medication. They tried exercise. They tried changing their diet. They tried a bunch of supplements. They tried therapy that they got down the road from someone. And it could be standing on their head with carrots up their nose. Who knows, right? So you listen and you go, okay, well, they haven't tried what we do. They've been sort of cycling in that trial of error. Now, on a previous Facebook Live, and you could look up the recording, I think, we talked a lot about that cycle of trial and error. So you've identified them as cycle of trial and error. But you still aren't done. You're still not done interviewing them to see if you can help them.
That's right.
You now have to ask them, well, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that episode that we covered was the very first one, and it was really getting out of the cycle of trial and error. So you can look it up as Health Coach Tip Tuesday if you want to refer to that. But I will let Reed finish what he was saying.
Yeah, that's, Facebook and these recordings are pretty cool. You got to watch what you say. You got to watch how you're dressed and stuff. So I actually try to put clothes on every time.
Thanks,
and
Reed.
so, if you've got those 4 questions down and this seems like someone you might want to work with, and remember, you're interviewing them, they're not interviewing you, and just getting your stuff. So good job, Mary. I see your note. Now, you still aren't done interviewing. You still don't know if they're going to be a good client yet. So the next tip I have for you is to make sure, after you find out their main complaint and how often it bothers them, how long it's been going on, what have they tried so far, and it's all a bunch of crap that hasn't worked, obviously, you can say, listen, I feel really bad for you. That's too bad. That's not normal. I'm sure that there's some help out there for you somewhere. Let's see if I can help you. Now, what else? The other things I need to know are, what does this do to your life? How does this sort of ruin your life or affect your life? Because if they go through those 4 things and then say, well, I get along, I'm fine,
Mm-hmm.
all in all, it's not that important, or it's not that difficult for me, then they're not going to sign up with you. And if they did, they'd be a crappy client because they just don't care enough. So the 5th question is always got to be, how is this affecting your life? Does it affect your work or your home or your hobbies or your relationships or things like that? So if you can get a reasonable answer to that thing, that there's going to be something you can bring back into the story later on. Hey, remember, you told me this was ruining your life. So if they say, oh, it's ruining my life, I can't work, I can't make love, I can't exercise, I can't do anything because of this problem. Well, now they're becoming more likely to be a successful client and someone you might want to bring on board. And so, you are going to onboard this person based on your interview of them and them answering these questions. So that's 5 questions that you got to ask everybody, but you're still not done. The 6th question is going to be, what might stand in the way. Let's pretend I take you on as a client. It's like, look, if I took you on as a client, um, would there be anything that would hold you back from completing a program? Because I only take on clients who are going to be successful. I have a very high success rate. It's because I carefully choose which clients I work with. So guess what? Now they're thinking, oh boy,
Mm-hmm.
I hope he takes me, or I hope she takes me. And you've completely changed the paradigm of whether you're, like begging this person to please work with you, or if they end up sort of begging you, can I please work with you? And I'm just using these terms loosely. We don't want anyone begging or anything like that. But they have to have a really strong desire, or number one, you're not really going to be able to help them. And number two, they're not even that likely to sign up with you. And so after you've asked the 5 questions and got through, how important this is, and you ask the next one, which I just said, is how, was there anything going to hold you back? Now, a lot of things that's where the money comes up. So you can handle money right then and there before you even get to your close, before you get to your offer and acceptance, and because you don't want to deal with it then. You want to get the money problems out of the way first and say to that person, um, you know, what would hold you up from completing a program? And if money comes up, you get to tackle it right there and say, one thing you could say is, look, I can't help what this thing costs. Like if we went on to a relationship, there's expenses, there's
Mm-hmm.
investment you have to make. So if you're not ready to make that investment, there's no reason to go on with the rest of this conversation. Like, you better understand that things cost money. It's the way the world works. I wouldn't get into particulars like about the lab fees or your fees or supplement costs or exercise, and what it might cost to be in your. Don't get into the particulars, but just get the whole subject dealt with right then and there, if that's their issue. Because remember, you're on the next question after. How is this ruining your life, basically, or affecting your life? And it has to be really affecting their
Mm-hmm.
life, like it's partly ruined. And then you're asking this question, but well, what would hold you up? Like, is there anything that would prevent you from it? And if it's money, you deal with it right then and there, and that's a good thing. You want money to come up then. And if it doesn't, if they say, "Oh, I've already spent thousands, so money's not the problem. The problem is my husband. He's such a jerk. He doesn't support me. He doesn't do this or that. Whatever. He eats beer and pizza, and he's fine. He thinks. And I eat one slice of Melba toast, and I have a bad react. And he
Right.
thinks I'm crazy. So, has that ever happened to you?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I did a discovery call early this morning, and we have just had this exact conversation. Yes, happens
Yeah,
regularly.
because it's a common thing. Yeah, I didn't know that, but that's good. So you're gonna the timing of dealing with these things is very, very important in the onboarding process.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to help people get well and stay well naturally, and teach them how to go and help their family and everything like that, you better onboard them properly. It's the key to this stuff. And we talk about this in the FDN course a lot. We spend whole modules on how to onboard
Yeah.
it and really get into the psychology of these things I'm going over with you now. Since we only have a few minutes, I'll just say that the next thing after they've given you what might hold them up, and if it's money, you deal with it right then and there, and you could just pretty much not go on. But if it's a husband, you say, listen, maybe we can help him too. There's different ways to sort of deal with that, or whatever else the issue is. Time is another thing. Well, I don't have time to go to the gym, or I don't have time for this. Well, you know what? You better have a conversation with them, just like with money, about, well, you know what? You're going to have to find the money. You're going to have to find the time. We have to make the time to do this stuff, or I'm not going to work with you. I can't work with someone with no time and no money. So you've already now you can get on to the next discovery call, because that one's not going to go the way you'd like it to,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not going to be a good person to work with. So that's the purpose of the question number 6. Now there's only 2 more questions real quickly. 7 is, let's say I took you on. You've dealt with their why this is so important to them. You've dealt with possible reasons why it might not work, and you're reasonably assured that you're going to be able to overcome those things. They've sort of already committed the money and the time, in that question number 6. And number 7 is, let's just say I took you on as a client, and your main complaint is this, and it's been bothering you this often, it's been going on for this long, and you've tried this and this, and you say it's ruining your life, and you can't sleep and you can't work or something, and you said there's nothing really that we can't overcome in the way of completing a program. So if we were to engage here, what would you reasonably expect to occur in the next 3 to 6 months? What would you like that to look like? What would you expect out of me? And if they say, I want you to cure my cancer in 3 months, or make me lose 80 pounds in 3 months, or ridiculous things, then you need to have a reality check, and don't take that person on. Their expectations are way too high. Have you had that happen to you, where their expectations were too high sometimes?
Oh yeah. They come up with all sorts of silly things.
It's stuff. So, but the average person who's been suffering for a while and has tried a bunch of stuff like that, they're going to have more reasonable expectations. So the 7th question is just, what would you expect to work with me? And then you can go from there. And we could actually just leave it at that. That's the best last question. Say, listen, based on what you've told me so far, we will I'll go ahead now, if you want, and tell you how I work. And then, of course, you have to have a really good little elevator speech. The way I work is to we first thing we do is we do a very good intake in terms of more in-depth history and the things that have been going on with you, and we run labs. So I run labs that doctors don't usually run. They're generally not covered by insurance, is the reason why. And so this is out-of-pocket money, but it's we look upstream. We look at the hormones. We look at the immune system. We look at digestion. We look at detoxification. We look at hidden interferences and stressors like food sensitivities and bugs and all kinds of things. So I run 5 labs in every person. That way we get a thorough and very comprehensive approach or view of everything that's wrong with you. We're really going to sort of get to the root of it, or as close as we can to it. And then we use a protocol that's designed not to treat those specific things. Like, if it was just IBS, you'd already have it cured. If that diagnosis was true and you spent 3 years trying to you would have fixed it already. So we know that there's a lot more going on, a lot more involved. And we work very, very holistically through our Dress for Health Success program. So if you're willing to do those 2 steps with me, step 1 is to do my investigation, including the lab work, saliva, urine, blood, and stool. And then you're going to follow a protocol that covers a complete epigenetic program. It's your diet, it's your rest, it's your exercise, it's reducing stress in every way that we can identify it. And it's taking some supplements because, quite frankly, food is not high quality enough, and we can use some targeted supplements and things like that. So our investigation, step 1. Step 2 is the creating a dress program. And I can do that for you. And step 3 is you got to do the program. You got to follow the program. And I will assist you at least for 90 days. And that's how my program works. Would you like me to tell you how much it costs? And they always say, yeah.
Yeah.
Or they might say, no, I'm not doing any of that crap. I'm not changing my diet. I'm not. And again, you just spent the last 20 minutes or more investigating and seeing, and they sound like, but you could still have them sort of give you bad signs and back away. Conversation's over. Come back when you're ready. But the same thing. So now you've already sort of pre-addressed the money because you've seen if that was one of their hangups, and you can give them your price. And I'm not going to talk pricing and packaging right now, but it's all in our course, and that's how you can get people healthy and happy and all naturally with no drugs or surgery. You can end their cycle of trial and error by going through a really good, solid onboarding process, understanding why you're asking these questions, understanding what their answers should look like if they're going to be successful. In other words, are they someone you should onboard? Because remember, if you onboard the wrong people, you're taking risk at your own happiness. If you want a stress-free health coaching business, then really get good at onboarding the right people. It makes life so pleasant when you have happy customers who are struggling with their health, but they're at least running your program. So you need to know how to onboard. You need to how to investigate the underlying problems. You need to how to design a customized holistic health building program that addresses every cell, tissue, organ, and system in their body simultaneously. That way you're not practicing medicine without a license and such. You're just going to address everything with a lifestyle program.
And I
And
agree, and this
so
is so
that's
relatable today. It
yeah,
is
good.
so relatable.
So get really good at onboarding, and you need in your back pocket all those investigative tools that we talked about. Like our program is not just good history taking and let's take some supplement. It's let's run some blood, saliva, urine, stool. Let's really design a good DRESS program, complete holistic epigenetic program that will treat every cell, tissue, and organ in their body. And then, of course, they have to run the program. And that's where your health coaching skills, which you might have in abundance, you might be a great coach, but without the tools in your back pocket and a really good, well designed, complete epigenetic program, your results could be limited, no matter how good your coaching skills are. Then you can, if you can do all three steps, you can be very, very successful. You have an amazing 2020. You'll have a stress-free health coaching practice. And what could be better than making other people healthy and happy and getting paid for it?
That's the truth, and I agree, and it really applies to me. I did this discovery call this morning, and we really were not the right fit. She's trying to tell me she's taking all these medications, but she doesn't have a health history. She's perfectly healthy, and she just doesn't want to commit to that change. And I sent her on her way and said, you really need to think about if you're ready to change and if you're going to be committed to these things, because sometimes we're just not a right fit. And I agree that a huge struggle for health coaches is really onboarding and getting that person that's the right fit, because that person that's willing to change and, do some of those things that you're recommending is going to be the one who's going to be happy and healthy and who are going to stay that way.
Amen, sister. Will you keep up the good work?
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Reed, for joining me today. If you guys want to get FDN's 3-step guide to getting real results for you and your clients, drop the word health in the comments. Thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you, Chip and Mary and Deb and Elizabeth, for hopping on. If you have questions after the show, drop them in the comments. We'll make sure to get to them. But thank you, Reed, for joining me, and we will be back next week with another awesome topic.
Thank you, and thanks for everybody being here, Chip and Mary and Deb and Elizabeth and Billy and John and all you guys. So see you later.
Yep. Bye, everybody. Thank you.